What's going on, everybody? Power Metal Ranger here with a special video. This is actually going to be the inaugural episode of a series I plan to try to continue going forward, where I kind of talk to the band members and whatnot to get a little bit of insight on what's going on with the albums and the music writing process, all that cool stuff. And I had to make the first episode really special. And for our inaugural guest, it's none other than Stephan from Second Reign. How's it going, man?
Thanks for having me. All good?
Yeah, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much.
Very welcome.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It really is a pleasure.
No, of course. And thank you again for taking part in my annual video. That was super cool. Appreciate that as well. So I hope you and the boys are doing all right over there in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, all good. We had a bit of struggle end of last year, but everything right now, so everything healthy and happy and all going good.
Awesome.
Rehearsing, having a few gigs planned. So yeah.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. You know, as I think everybody all knows, you released your debut album Gravity last year, but before getting into that, I'm kind of curious on a little bit of the backstory on the band itself. Like, how did you guys all kind of form up? Did you all know each other for a while, or did you send out flyers, hey, looking for a melodic rock band members? How did Second Reign come together?
Indeed, in the early days, you had all these flyers on the pin boards that don't really exist anymore. Yeah, true. It's a bit of a pity. So yeah. you hardly find a place where you can look for musicians except the internet, of course. Yeah, how did that work? It's almost 5 years in August or July, almost 5 years ago, and it happened that Boris, our keyboarder, approached me on Facebook. We didn't know each other, but some certain connections, and somehow he found me and asked me if I was interested in a new band. I actually had a band at that time, two to be precise, a cover band, the Gray Hair Company, where I didn't really fit in.
I feel your pain, so I get it.
And that was a cover band with mainly 60s and 70s, like Creedence Clearwater and Manfred Mann and all these kind of things. And I had a band. We had some sort of glam sleaze rock.
Okay.
And I was looking for a keyboarder for that band. So I tried to convince Boris to join my band, but he had something else in mind, and we met. And Dan, the drummer, he already played a year or two together with Boris in a different constellation. And the guitarist kind of wanted to go back to Greece, where he came from. So they split up and we're looking for some new members. And at first we tried with the guitarist of both former bands, Sahara Rain, and we met in the rehearsal room, played Superstitious by Europe. That was the first song that we played together.
Nice.
And it didn't quite fit with the guitarist, so he expected something else. Chemistry didn't work, and he said, well, I have a former pupil, a guitar student that I teached. Why not try him? And a few weeks later, Alain came and he stayed. And that was actually the beginning of the band, again with Europe and Superstitious. So we played that a few times, and we knew that we wanted to go in the melodic rock direction, AOR direction, but we didn't have any songs. I had a few songs from my previous band that I quit, but they were, yeah, sleazy, hard rock. That wasn't the kind of songs that we wanted to do. Nevertheless, we tried a few of them, but soon turned out that it wasn't the direction. We had a second cover from One Desire Hurt that we also played a long time next to Europe. And we were trying things and didn't really knew what it was about. And then I believe around Christmas time, So 4 months after we met, I came with The Truth, the first own song of Second Rain, and this kind of really was the beginning of, okay, this direction we want to go, with lots of keyboards, lots of power, great hooks and choruses, guitar solos. So The Truth really is kind of the archetype of Second Rain, because it all started with it, and then I began to write other songs. Also, Ale wrote a few songs, but they kind of didn't fit in the mood. He's more the guy coming from the northern power metal, symphonic metal, Viking metal, black metal, even. And songs were cool, but they didn't fit. I brought a few songs; they were nice, but didn't fit. And in the end, we had these 13 tracks that are on the album, and 17 plus tracks that some of them were really not good, and some of them were okay, but they just weren't Second Rain songs. They would fit in many other bands, but not us. And yeah, it just kind of evolved. It happened. So there wasn't really a plan, and in the end, we ended up with Gravity.
Wow, awesome. So like The Truth was kind of the foundation, and everything was built
Absolutely.
around that.
Yeah, and still one of my, if not the favorite, Second Rain song so far. Yes.
Really cool, really cool. So I guess we have Boris to thank for Second Rain. Is that right?
Absolutely, yes. He was the guy that put us all together. Yeah, he put the band together.
Perfect. Well, hey,
Right.
you pulled in the right guys for the job. That's for sure.
Totally.
So are you like the primary songwriter, I guess, or?
It indeed is like that. Yes, I wrote songs like, I don't know, 30 years now.
Oh wow.
Many bad ones, many good ones, but I'm kind of in the mood, and I just have to. It's like voices in my head, these melodies, so they have to get out. Otherwise, I would be going crazy. And not everything that I write is for Second Rain. So there are a lot of things that I don't even show the guys, because really not fitting any kind of style Second Rain is in. But for the moment, I'm the main songwriter. Maybe that will change someday. Alan also still writing songs, but more maybe a side project at some time. We don't know. But yes, mainly my songs.
Okay. And
so
speaking
far.
of Elaine, I know you said that he gets really cranky when he's hungry, right? Have you been keeping him fed over there?
Absolutely, and indeed, we had a photo shooting on Wednesday for new pictures, and indeed he came up with a Snickers and a sandwich, so he was well prepared.
He really had a Snicker. He went all the way with that
Absolutely.
thing. That's funny. Yes, for anyone who doesn't know that, if you ever catch Elaine out in the wild, give him a pancake or something, because we got to keep him fed. That's what I've learned. So
absolutely right. Yes, you better do. Don't be afraid of the cougars and the tigers. Be afraid of Ale.
that's too funny.
Yeah.
So super cool the way it was all put together, and I totally get it with you just have to get the voices out of your head, and not everything's gonna land, but you just gotta do it.
Yeah.
But
Right.
so I know you mentioned to me at one point that one of the influences for one of the songs on the album was from the band Mono Inc.
Yeah, right.
Which is quite a different genre type than what's found on Gravity. Are there any other kind of unique inspirations that we may not know about?
I think that the funniest thing is about Another Night. The probably most weird inspiration that I had was I think we call it future pop or electronic body music kind of style, also more in this wave goth genre. And that's a band called Ruined Conflict, and they really make this future pop EBM style. And they had one song. it doesn't sound at all like Another Night, but that was the main inspiration of the Another Night keyboard riff, and everything evolved after listening to that totally not second range genre song.
Right.
There were others. Some of them really had influences, like when I listened to one or two songs, there were ideas coming up and I made up something hopefully more different to the songs that I listened to, but mainly it was really just like when walking the dog, those melodies evolved in my head and I hum them on my smartphone, like and in the end there's a song coming out. Sometimes I don't really know what I hummed on my phone, so there are really situations that what it was so cool in my head, and what did I hum on my phone?
What was I thinking?
Yeah, absolutely.
Was I just mumbling? What's going on? That's funny.
So that's basically how these songs happen, and now it's a bit different now for the second album that we are working on. So this time it's really work behind it. So it's not just wait for inspiration and do something. The songs for the new album, they have really been hard work. So usually, mainly per minute song, I need 2 hours for create. So 5-minute song takes me 10 hours of composing and putting all together and arranging. And at the moment, I think we're about 20 or 30 hours per song. So it's really changed from the beginning. So there's much more experimentation, cutting, shifting parts. One of the new songs is around 3 minutes and was before like 6.5. So there's really a lot of work behind for the second album, which I hope everyone will hear, that it's a bit different to what we have done now.
So I guess there's a lot more pressure now, right? That you've released the first, I guess it's a little more, there's a little more freedom, I guess, when you're working up for your first album. But once that drops and you have a record label now, it's, we want another album.
You have your whole life for your first album, but only a year for the second. So it's really, and we don't want to do the same thing anymore, but it shouldn't be too different from what we've done, because it's what we want to do. And yeah, it's kind of different. It's certainly not be such a catchy album as Gravity, where more or less all the hooks are going on well. So it will be more difficult to listen to what we do now. We will see.
That's intriguing, to say the least. Like you said, more experimental. We're not getting into a prog territory, are we?
Not really prog, but we try to do more interesting things, and not like the stomping beats, but having a bit split up and different. I wouldn't yet say it's progressive rock, but we try to make it more interesting with rhythm. Yes, absolutely.
Really cool. Super cool. I'm sure everyone's going to be super intrigued by that now. So if we weren't already excited and anticipating the second album, I think that's reached a new level now.
Yeah, great. Even more pressure.
Yeah. No pressure. Just do what you guys do, and I'm sure we'll all love it. But you know, speaking of like the EBM style and all that, have you ever thought of taking like one of the songs that you've done and transformed it into like a industrial or EBM style cut or anything like that?
Not really, no. I mean, we were thinking about some acoustic versions, especially from Another Night, for example. We tried a few things, but for some reason never really recorded it. I think it's very difficult for most to understand and listen to this. I listened a lot to English music or UK music in the 90s, all these Britpop and Britrock things, and they took it as a normal way, that they took their song and made some kind of a techno poppy dance tune out of it. So it was something totally common in the UK to have dance remixes of your songs. which I believe is more or less the only country that does such things and listen to it. In my previous band, I indeed had a song that we made a techno track of. That was pretty fun.
Is this stuff available on YouTube? Can we go listen to this stuff? Or
I don't know. I
it's in a
don't
vault?
even know. Yeah, somewhere, yes. I don't even know if I have the CD anymore. So that was a guy. He's currently well known Swiss DJ that I knew back that time. Mike Candice, his name, and does a lot of EBM music and is pretty successful. And he at that time remixed one of the songs.
Wow.
Was interesting. We never did anything with it because, yeah, making a rock song techno, that just don't find the audience for it.
Right.
But it was more just a personal thing. But no, not really. Although I like cover versions and different versions a lot, but it's just a matter of time. So we really need, we want to work on our second album, and as mentioned, takes a lot of time arranging the songs. So there's just not more time to do something else with it.
Yeah.
Maybe sometime.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to remix our songs, feel free to contact us.
There you go. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. DJ Tiesto, get in on this. Let's make this an international thing here. So now that Gravity has been out for, was it six months or so now?
Almost 6 months, yeah.
How are y'all? Well, I guess y'all are just nose deep in the second album. Did you even get a chance to enjoy the release of Gravity and seeing how that was received, or did you just kind of release and then boom, off we go?
Not really. No. I think that the major point was that we were not able to promote it live, which was a bit of a pity. So we had planned the release party on the same day, which didn't happen because we know why. We had a few gigs planned that didn't happen due to sickness of one of our band members and due to COVID. So we really had only one gig last year after the album release. The Saturday after the release, that was the only gig that we had. And that was a bit of the shame, because you have something created for, in our case, over 2 years, and you were not able to promote it. And we were so looking forward playing these songs live, and yeah, we have an album, and play it live and see how the people react. This is something that we're still missing. We have the reviews, of course, we have our friends telling us it's cool or not cool, so whatever, but we don't ever really had the reaction of an audience, because we had, since the beginning, we started to have our first gig by the end of 2019, and thought, well, now everything is going fast, and like 2 months later was lockdown and nothing happened anymore. And it was the worst time to start with the band, but who knew? And that's something we're looking forward this year, because it looks like that more possibilities will be there to have live gigs and find out how the audience reacts to our songs face to face. So that's something that we're really missing. That was a pity, but on the other hand, that gave us time to react to all the reviews that we got, the good ones and the bad ones. Fortunately, not so many bad ones, but some real mean ones.
Really?
Yeah, some really mean ones. But basically, it was all good and above, and also, of course, the reaction videos of the album and the videos itself was total fun to listen to and react to. And that gave us a lot of time, and we didn't really feel the urge or pressure to work on something new. So I think if we would have been able to go on touring or play more gigs, we probably wouldn't have thought about making an album next or this year. So it all comes together. You have to use your time for something useful, and in that case, it was writing songs. And let's see how it evolves with these live gigs, but at least at least we have 2 planned for this year so far, many negotiations. So looks like we have double as much gigs as the last years before.
There you go. Hey, if that's not success, I don't know what is.
Well, right.
I mean,
200%, 200% more
Yes.
than last year.
That's great. Oh man, yeah, you all need to do a US tour. You ever plan on coming over to the US?
Plans, we would of course love to come to every country in this world. It's all a matter of infrastructure wanting to have us. It doesn't make sense to come only for one gig. So if we have many, we need someone to plan. We're working on a booking that we don't have to do it on our own. So things are slowly coming to a point where it may be possible, but I'd say as many US bands come only to tour in Europe and don't tour the US anymore, I believe it's pretty difficult to have a proper tour planned in the USA with more or less getting out even and not having to pay too much for it. So really don't know. If you want to have it, if you want to have us, US, every other country in the world, call me, we'll be there.
There you go.
But first we focus on Switzerland and we hope to get on the neighbor country soon. We will see. We will see. But things are getting better. I really believe it.
Perfect. Yeah, so I mean, it seems like you guys got a plan and everything, and you know, I know everyone on my channel and whatnot have very much well received Gravity. You know, it was, I mean, it's a fantastic album, not only a debut album, but just melodic rock. You guys have just a unique sound that kind of sets you apart from the other melodic rock bands, you know, out there. Because I tell you, right now it's the time for melodic rock.
Absolutely.
They're just coming out from the woodwork, but
80s are so back.
Yeah. Yes. But
right.
So it's super cool to hear kind of a unique sound brought to that genre. And oh, you know, one other thing I want to ask you is the album cover. It is so interesting. You know, I remember one of our first interactions was talking about I was trying to pick out different things from the album cover and all that, and it just seems, I guess, someone just looking from the outside in, like there's just a bunch of random stuff. Is there a method to that madness? How was that designed? Did you guys design that album art yourself, or did someone else do it? Because it's really cool. You can really, it's almost like an I Spy book. You remember those books from back in the day? You find the little hidden images. It's kind of like that. You can see the neat little things hidden away.
It's a bit of both. I don't really remember how the idea in general came up. I remember that we had a white queen first. I call it queen, the girl on the box. So we had a white queen first, but the tree and everything was around, and it just evolved also. It's a bit of both. So there are elements that have absolutely nothing to do with Second Rain or the lyrics or the album, but there are a lot of elements that reflect the album. We started with our first single before we were under a record label of Massacre Records was Another Night. That was a first single. Two years, yeah, 2019, I believe, more or less when we started our first gig, and that was the first cover. So we tried to put in some elements of this Another Night lyrics that would resemble the text and the feeling and the mood of the song, but there also were some random images adding up that it kind of looked like something. And then we had the second single, can't remember, I believe it was The Truth. So we thought, okay, we have this girl, why not taking this girl into the other images and doing some sort of a story. And in each of the images that we have for the singles and for the album cover is kind of a best of. So it includes more or less everything from, or a lot of images from the single images. If you have the album, you know all the others. And it just ended up as some sort of, yeah, having a lot of parts that resemble the lyrics with some fantasy aspects. We also always have the second rain sign in each of the image, which is some sort of a, it's like Iron Maiden. They always have their little Iron Maiden sign in each image, and you have to try to find out where is it. So personally, we felt that it's not only about music, because usually, at least when I write a song, I have a lot of images about how it looks like, and I feel this is something that just goes together, the song and the album cover or the single cover or the whole artwork of the album. We didn't just want to have our faces and the lyrics and that's it. So it should have been something, when you listen to the song, you can look at the images and think for yourself, what could it be all about? And some are metaphoric, some are pretty obvious. And we even had a second album cover with the White Queen. So it was a bit different from the one that we have now, with a girl with a white dress sitting there and having a little different elements. We thought about maybe if we have vinyl ones or a special edition that was all pre-Massacre Records. We wanted to do some sort of a special edition for those guys who ordered it before we released it, something like that. Didn't happen. So maybe when we have the 20-year anniversary re-recording, we will have a different cover, because we already have a second one.
There you go. Super cool. And I guess the last question I have for you is, how did you all come up with the name Second Rain? Why not First Rain?
It doesn't sound as good, I believe.
No, it doesn't, but
no, really. So no, actually it's as it is like the album name. We were thinking about how could we name the album, and the same it was, of course, with the band name. We had the band, and we were looking for what kind of songs we wanted. And Second Rain is Boris' band or previous band was called Sahara Rain, and he first thought, hey, let's call our band Sahara Rain, and we were no, it's like something new, so it doesn't make sense. But it was kind of a homage to this band, but also for us, we had previous bands, some more famous, some less famous, and we all felt that this Second Rain will be the last big thing that we will put our effort in, and that is like the second rain, that it's the second time, and now the real time that we try to do something real and make an album or two and see where we go. Yeah, I think that was mainly this Sahara Rain, Second Rain, and we thought, well, the second, because it's really, I mean, we're not 25 anymore, although I know you don't see it, but now you know, it's big secret, and who knows how long we will do this, and that was kind of this whole idea about the Second Rain.
Super
it's
cool.
A bit difficult in Switzerland or non-English languages, because the rain usually is the rain.
Yeah.
So you need to explain first, nah, it's not about rain, it's about rain.
Wow.
But
so they hear rain and they just automatically think,
yeah,
falling rain. Wow.
There's a second rain. What the heck were you thinking?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No.
Completely different.
Yeah, big difference. That's super cool. I like how meaningful it is, that it's kind of that's really cool. Yeah. And as they say, you know, as the saying goes, first is the worst, second is the best. So there you have it.
Yeah.
But
you have all the freedom on second place. So the first guy in the Olympics or wherever, he has all the interviews and has to run around, and the second guy, he has the fame and the freedom. So
the fame and the freedom. Hey, those are two things that I think most people would like to have, right?
Absolutely.
Well, Thank you again so much, Stephan, for joining me on this. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed hearing all about that. And looking so forward to the future of Second Reign. May it be long lasting and
Thank you.
fruitful. So thanks again. And
thanks again for having us. Was pleasure as always.
Thank you. And to everyone out there, that's what we got. I hope you enjoyed that. Check out Second Reign. I'm going to put a lot of their details in the description down below. If you haven't heard them or listened to them yet, I don't know where you've been, but get on that now, truly. And I'll catch you all next time. Ranger, out.